Welcome to our podcast, Learn Biblical Greek, brought to you by Dr. William Stewart, the co-founder of Teleios. This captivating podcast teaches you biblical Greek through a verse-by-verse study of the book of Ephesians, interjecting Greek grammar, Greek word meanings, and vital theology concepts. Thanks for joining us on this exciting biblical journey. Your study will be more effective if you use the Greek text with the Bible word codes, either on the eSword download or Bible Hub website. These links are on our podcast website at www.teliosresearch.com.
Hi, I'm William Stewart, co-founder of Teleios. Welcome back to our podcast on learning biblical Greek. We're learning the grammar, we're learning the use of the Greek words, we're learning the theology in this exciting book of Ephesians. We're in chapter 2, verse 13, in the middle of the salvation. Really, the first two chapters about salvation, and it changes into the church structure afterwards, leading all up to chapter 4 to 6 about our Christian walk. What a great book, so efficient in its presentation about Christ, salvation, and our Christian life. Let's go to the text. Verse 13, are you ready? Nooni is the word for now, close to the English now, nooni. Day is a very common conjunction. Remember, these conjunctions are important in biblical Greek to connect phrases since there is no punctuation, just like Hebrew or Latin, Aramaic. Day, as Runge has noted, can mean and. But it represents connecting thoughts, but adding new information, which we see here. You see that it's postpositive, meaning it comes second in the phrase, even though it's a conjunction. This is common in Greek, therefore, gar, for, two other words which commonly do this. Why is it postpositive? Well, we just don't know. Sorry about that. It's Greek. In, that very common preposition, meaning in, at, on, by means of. Christo. So remember, in takes the dative as it's stationary on something. That omega is the singular, masculine, or neuter dative declension to Christ, literally, but with the preposition just is in Christ. In requires the dative. Jesu is also dative, even though if you're thinking about it, it looks like the genitive, but it's irregular. One of the few irregular Greek words that OU represents the dative. Plutos, riches, also does this. Umis is you, plural. Remember, this is not typically used, much like in Spanish, but it will be used for emphasis, as it is here. EOI, short word, makes you think of a article or relative pronoun. Here, it seems in context to be acting as a relative pronoun, the plural nominative masculine. So, who? Poti, very common, well, not too terribly common, but common time-related word, meaning past, at some time, never, sometimes. Here, once were, in the past time, basically. Untis is this relatively common participle form of to be, imi, and you can see it's just nt, which tells you the present participle, active participle, but that O on the front is just really related to imi. So ONT, would tell you the present participle of imi. Es is the ending specifying the plural masculine nominative ending. Macron is a probably really little used adverb for far away. AN is not a typical adverbial ending OS. Omega S is the most common, but it really depends on the word. So what do we have here? But now in Christ Jesus, you who at one time being far away. Okay, so it's talking about the Gentiles that before Christ, as it talked about in verse 11 and 12, were outside the commonwealth of Israel and the advantages that they had. So now they're, as we see, because of Christ, they're close by, equal to the Jews in obtaining salvation through faith alone. We'll continue next time in verse 13. Glad you're with me today. Hope these episodes are positive for you and helpful. Please comment if you have time on our website. I'll look forward to seeing you for the next podcast.